Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to start a highly anticipated reading vlog. I feel like I missed a word there. I had 3 of my most highly anticipated books of the year come out in March, and I want to read them and not have them languish on my shelf. They are all continuations in a series. 2 are the final book in a series, so that's really exciting. I'm not nervous at all. Thank you so much for asking. I have 3 books plus a maybe that I'm going to be reading in this video. Book 1, and the one I've already started, is The Angel of Indian Lake by Stephen Graham Jones. This is the final book in the Indian Lake trilogy. This is slasher horror. My Heart is a Chainsaw is the book that I credit with turning me into a horror girly, much to my surprise. And I'm so excited to see how he wraps everything up. I'm like 76 pages into it, and 80 pages into it, and I'm already nervous for Jade. Like so nervous. The other book that came out earlier this month is Speculations in Sin by Jennifer Ashley, and this is an installment in the Below Stairs mystery series where we follow Kat Holloway, who is a cook for an English townhouse and solves murders, and it's great. It's historical mystery. If you like Veronica Speedwell, like this is kind of in the same vein, though I like Kat better than Veronica. Maybe not better. Kat's different. Kat's just different. She's older. She's a little bit more mature. She's a little bit more measured. She's less impulsive than Veronica has a tendency to be. And she's also a single mom. So I guess maybe I just relate to Kat. Not the single mom part, but like just the being a mom. Anyways, I relate to Kat a little bit more than I relate to Veronica, and I really love this series, and I'm excited to see what happens in this next book. There is also a delightful slow burn romance in this, like so slow burn, but whoa, it's good. So I'm hoping we get somewhere with that. And then the last new release that I've been anticipating this month is The Feastmakers by H.A. Clark. This is the last book in the Scapegracers series. It's so shiny. I love it. This is a YA contemporary fantasy witchy book. I like to say that while you have some books that are quietly queer, this series is punchy in the face queer, and I love that for me. I do not remember what happened. I mean, I kind of remember what happened in book 1 and book 2, but I don't fully remember where we left off. So I'm definitely gonna have to refresh my memory a little bit before I dive into this one. And then my maybe book for this vlog, if I have time, if I don't run out of time. I'm giving myself a week, so we'll see what my reading powers are like in a week. I did not pre-order this one. I got it from my library because I'm not sure if I'm gonna love it. I haven't read from this author really before, but it's A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal. I think this also came out in February, not in March. So it is a maybe, but it is on the possibility pile. So we'll see if I have time. I'll see if I get to it. All I know about this is that it's a YA heist book with vampires. So I'm excited. I'm also really excited because I've never read Six of Crows, and that's what everybody is comparing this to. And so I'm hoping that by not having Six of Crows in my head to compare it to, that I end up having like a fun time. So that is the TBR for this video. That is the plan, and I will update with The Angel of Indian Lake when I'm a little further in. I will be careful with that one because I don't want to give any spoilers for the series with any of these, so I will tread carefully, and I promise no spoilers. I know that last update was 2 seconds ago, but it's actually been a week since I pulled out the camera, which is fine. We were on spring break last week, and I know I filmed during the summer. I should be able to film when everybody is home, but I don't, anyways, I just didn't film, which is fine. I am 60% of the way through The Angel of Indian Lake, and this shows you how little I actually read last week because it's been almost a full week and I'm only 60% of the way through. Okay, this is gonna be spoiler free. So if you are currently reading the series and don't want to be spoiled, don't worry, I will not spoil it for you. So this is starting 4 years after Don't Fear the Reaper. And all I'm gonna say for now is that I'm a little confused. I don't understand quite the sequence of events. Like, I understand the sequence of events, but I don't understand like the logic of the things that are happening. But I think that's okay because Jade, I don't think, understands what's happening. And so if Jade is confused, then I feel okay with being confused, which is generally how I roll. Like, if I'm reading a book and I don't understand what's going on, but the main character also doesn't really understand what's going on, then we're fine. I trust that the author will get me there. I trust that Stephen Graham Jones will get me there. This one is back to being a little bit of a slow burn, like My Heart is a Chainsaw. I like to say that My Heart is a Chainsaw is a slow burn, and then Don't Fear the Reaper is like a fire that's been doused with gasoline from the beginning. And this one we're kind of back to the slower burn. Though I'm in the lull right now. There was like a ton of action around the 40 to 50% mark, and now I'm in like the lull right before everything's gonna go to hell in a handbasket. So that's about where I am, but I love Stephen Graham Jones's writing. I love Jade as a main character so much. He did hurt my feelings with this one a little bit in the middle, so I'm kind of upset about that. I'm hoping he doesn't hurt my feelings more, but I don't know. So since this is my first, like, this series is my first experience with Stephen Graham Jones, I haven't read anything else by him yet, and I don't know, like, I just don't know what the outcome of this is going to be. Like, is he going to have a final girl, or is everyone going to get wiped out? Like, what's going to happen? I just don't know. And I'm so nervous because I just don't know how precious he is about his characters, or if he doesn't care and he's willing to kill his darlings to prove a point. I don't know. So I'm nervous. I'm very nervous. Audiobook again is fantastic, and I'll let you know when I finish it what my thoughts are. And then I did start the Jennifer Ashley book, Speculations in Sin. This is the second book I've read in like 2 weeks where the physical book is out, but the audiobook is not out at the same time. This audiobook isn't coming out until May, which is kind of frustrating because I really love these on audio, and I don't understand why publishers do that. Like, why can't they come out at the same time? So I'm 40%, I think, through this one. And this is, I don't even know what number in this series. I think it's like 7. Character Kat is a cook at a very posh house in Mayfair, and she solves murders, which is my favorite, you know, amateur detective. And I love the characters in these. This one's hitting a little bit closer to home because a mystery is involving the husband of her best friend, and this isn't a spoiler, you find this out in the first book, and then it's like reiterated in every book, you know. But Kat has a daughter from a previous marriage, but can't take care of her daughter because Kat isn't married anymore. And so in order to keep her position, like, Kat has to pass herself off as a single woman. And so Kat's best friend has been raising her daughter for her since basically she was born, and then Kat like gives her friend money to help support her daughter. And so the husband of Kat's best friend is implicated in a crime, and in order to like save her best friend and make sure her daughter still has like a loving home to be taken care of, and like Kat undertakes figuring out why her best friend's husband is being framed for this crime. So that's it. There is way less romance in this than I typically like. Daniel has been in this like hardly at all, so I don't like that because I really thought we were gonna get more of Daniel in this one. Like the romance was gonna go places, and the romance is going nowhere. So that's frustrating for me. I think this series, the mysteries are better than the Veronica Speedwell mysteries, and I think this is good if you want characters who are a little bit more mature. Like Kat is a little bit older, she's a little bit steadier, and I like that it's, you know, most of these characters are in service. They are lower class. They're maids and footmen and constables and errand running boys. I don't know whatever that word is. Anyways, so I like that it's a little different from, you know, the lords and ladies style of historical mystery. But this one I'm forced to only read with my eyeballs since the audiobook's not out yet. And then this one I'm kind of bouncing back and forth from the audio to physical. Oh, I will say, my only critique for Stephen Graham Jones is I wish he would write a shorter chapter. Just a little bit. A little shorter chapter. Because they're just so ding-dang long. Look at this. This is going to be, I think this is the chapter where all the things are going to go down. Starts on 362 and it ends on 429. What are we doing? Why is all of this a chapter? Why? Anyways, so that's my Stephen Graham Jones complaint, but otherwise, I am really liking both of these. I'm having a good time with both of them. They're very different. I have no idea when I'm going to finish them, but I'll let you know when I do. All right. Hello. I had a visitor. She's so mad because I fed her, but we are not eating dinner, therefore she is not interested in eating dinner. Anyways, that's not what you're here for. I finished The Angel of Indian Lake. I'm giving it a 4, and I am so disappointed that I am giving it a 4. Can we relate, anybody? Where you get a book that you're anticipating giving 5 stars, and you have a good reading experience, but not as good as the one you thought you were gonna have, and so you're disappointed even though it was still a good book. I don't know. I'm really going through it with this one. No spoilers, as promised. Here's what I can tell you without spoiling anything. I loved the beginning and I loved the end, but I didn't like the epilogue, which I think is part of the problem. I think if the book had just ended where it ended, I would feel so much better about it and I would be so much more excited about it. But because he switches his writing style for the epilogue, and I didn't like it. And I'm such an endings person, like in life and in books. I can have a fantastic experience with something, and if it ends just on a slightly sour note, it colors the whole experience for me. And it's the same with books. I can have a mediocre reading experience, but if the ending is good, dang, it just colors my whole experience differently. And when I don't like the ending, it makes me sad. And I continued to be, I talked about this earlier, I continued to be confused in the middle. And there was just, it was really hard to follow in a way that the other 2 books weren't hard for me. So I don't think it's Jade, because I could follow her just fine in the other 2 books. So I don't know what about his writing was different for me in this one, where I really struggled to picture what was happening. And there would be some parts of scenes that would be so crystal clear and I could picture exactly what was happening and exactly what he's talking about. And then it was like, you know, if you're watching the book on a TV, it would be so clear and then it would be like static and I couldn't see what was happening anymore. So that's kind of like what the middle of the book was like for me. I don't know if anybody else reads in that way, but that was the experience I had and it was frustrating. But I'm giving it a 4. Like a 4 is not a bad rating, but I'm disappointed it's a 4. So I don't know. that's where I am. I finished it. I love Jade so much. I guess now I have to read more Stephen Graham Jones because so far this trilogy are the only books of his that I have read so far. That will be, but I'll do that later. I'm gonna give myself a break. I do wish he had shorter chapters. These chapters are too long. Too long. I need them to be shorter. Oh, I will say I loved the twist. Be fair. There's another positive. Well, we're gonna do a little, what is that called? A little sandwich. It's not a compliment sandwich. What is it called? I used it when I worked in daycare where you said something good that happened, you talked about the bad thing that happened, and then you ended with a good thing that happened. Like, that's what we're doing. I loved the twist. I did not see the twist coming, and I thought it was really clever and fun, and added, yeah, it was a good twist. So I did love that. Okay, that's it. I am 70. I'll just grab it. It's right here. I'm this far into the Jennifer Ashley book. I have about 100 pages left, and I'm going to try to finish it by tomorrow morning. And then I did start the Feastmakers, but I'm only on chapter 3, so I'll talk about that more later. Though it did make a My Little Pony reference already, which I love. And I just realized that this, I guess, is also kind of my catch-up vlog for March, because this would be the week I would be doing my catch-up vlog. But I'm reading all new releases, so I guess it's a combo video. But I leave to go on a girls' weekend Friday, and it's currently Wednesday. And I would like to not bring these books to the beach for the girls' weekend, so I need to get my rear gear and finish some more books. Hi, surprise, surprise, I'm at work. I'm about to go in. I wanted to let y'all know real quick that I finished Speculation in Sin by Jennifer Ashley. We have a theme for this video. I'm giving it a 4. I believe I already gave you all a brief summary. So what I will say now that I finished it is this book is short. This is 300 pages. It's probably the shortest in the whole series outside of the 3 novellas I think there are. And it was slow to get going. It also wasn't my favorite of the mysteries we've had. And I don't know if that's because it is like a murder around an institution. Like the murder happens in a bank and there's the embezzlement of funds, and you know, so it's a little bit more corporate and a little bit less messy human drama. But I didn't like the mystery as much as I've liked the mysteries in the past. I also felt like it took a long time for our secondary characters to show up in this story, and the secondary characters in this series like make the whole series. I mean, Kat is a fantastic main character, but Kat is also, because she is so steady and practical, she doesn't bring a lot of spice to the equation. So you need those secondary characters to make it a more exciting book. And it took, like I kind of complained about earlier, it took a long time for Daniel to show up and be a main character. And it took a long time, like Mr. Davis, who is the butler for the house that Kat works in, like he was absent for the first chunk. So it just took a long time for like our cast of characters to show up. And then once they showed up, then it was fun. Like the last 100 pages was really exciting. I had a lot of action. It moved quickly. I felt like Jennifer Ashley moved Kat and Daniel's relationship forward a little bit, which is great. I really hope the next book we get more answers about Daniel's past, because I feel like Kat and Daniel's relationship can't move forward until we do that. So that is my hope. But it was a fun time. I wish I'd had the audiobook though, because I love the audiobooks. That is the wrap on that one. I do highly recommend the series. I think it's really fun and it's different and it's smart and it's cozy. Those are my thoughts. And now I have to go into work. So I will talk to you all. Feastmakers is longer. It's over 400 pages. So I'll try to give you an update when I'm like halfway through. It's a booktube miracle. I finished The Feastmakers. These books are so shiny, which is great because I want this video to go out the day after tomorrow. So it gives me a day to edit and get all the stuff pulled together. So this is book 3 in the Scapegracers series. Book 1 is obviously Scapegracers. Book 2 is The Scratch Daughters. This is a YA contemporary witchy series. And do I remember what happens in The Scapegracers? Basically, this is about finding your people. In book 1, we meet our main character, Sideways Pike, and Sideways is a loner and a lesbian and doesn't really fit in with anybody or anywhere. Sideways had a really rocky start to life. Their mother passed away when they were like 8, and they spent a long time, or maybe it was earlier, and they spent a long time in the foster care system just suffering horrible neglect in foster families until their mother's brother and his husband finally found her and were able to adopt her. And so life has been good since then, but obviously like Sideways has a lot of trauma from the beginning of their life. And they reluctantly befriend these 3 other girls, Jang, Daisy, and Yates, and they unlock their magical powers and discover they're witches and form a coven. And in this witchy world, there are witch hunters who, get it, hunt witches. So that's kind of the like big bad for this series. And I really love H.A. Clarke's writing. It's so feral and unapologetically queer, and I think it's really cool to watch Sideways' journey, because in this book Sideways still uses she her and identifies as a lesbian and like has all this stuff, but you really like get to watch them slowly like discover their non-binariness and watch that transition. And then there's another kid who you meet who is trans, and so it's really cool to watch that character's like discovery of themselves on the page. And I think the representation in here is awesome, and I just love, I said this word already, but I love how feral the writing is and how feral these characters are and how it's just a big old pile of gay, and I love it so much. I think I said it earlier, it really is like punch you in the face queer. Like H.A. Clarke is not holding anything back, is not trying to make their characters small so that readers will be comfortable. And I just think that this like celebration of found family and existing is it's so fantastic. So I did read, this is the final book in the series that just came out in March, and we're really wrapping up any loose ends that were left over, because and I will say I didn't necessarily need this book, because I feel like Clarke did a really good job of ending the Scratch Daughters where like this, it could have been a duology and that would have been fine, but I'm really glad that he wrote another book, because this was the perfect way to wrap up the story. I'm giving it somewhere in the 4 range. I'm not exactly sure where yet, but 4.25 probably feels right. So it's not a 5, but that's okay. I'm not giving it a 5 because I did feel like the pacing was a little weird. In certain places, it did feel kind of slow, and then all of a sudden it was super fast. That could have been the way I read it, because I did take kind of a break in the middle because I was distracted by other things. But I like getting to see these characters again. I like being shown that Sideways is going to be okay in spite of everything, despite everything. And I like getting to see where their girls and their coven is going to end up. And I don't know, they just like, they had all these possibilities left open for them, and I really liked it. I had a good time. But if you also like YA, witchy, contemporary, kind of dark, there are some horror elements, though I would not classify this as horror. But you gotta do not pick this up if you're wanting YA that leans more adult, this is unabashedly YA. Like, this has all the teen angst, all the teen drama, all the teen feelings. Like, you need to be in a YA headspace if you're an adult to have fun with this series, would be my caveat. So for that is fun. I'm trying to get my middle kid to read these books because I think they will really like them, but we're at that age where when mom recommends books, they don't want to hear it. So anyways, with that, we are going to wrap up this vlog. Tempest of Tea, I will read in a different vlog. That's just not going to happen because I want to get this one up and I cannot read that book in a day. That's just not the stage of life that I am in. This was definitely a let's make some progress in some series, but I did finish 2 series, which is really cool. I would love to know if any of these are on your radar. And if you've read them already, your thoughts, whether you're going to keep going, whether you've decided to DNF the series, whether you hadn't heard of these beforehand and now you're interested in picking them up. Tell me all the things. And if you want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here, let's do a swan, a goose, a bird emoji. Did we do a bird in another video recently? Maybe we did, but we'll just do another one. Like if you like it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!